Hello and welcome back, friends, as we are here to bring you more Overwatch action. I am Rich Red here with the amazing Necra, as we are going to look to see these next two teams go head-to-head. And we just had a pretty great interview here, I think, with Ding from that introduction of their name specifically.
I did look up that clip. I'm a little concerned, Rich Red.
Yeah.
But I think it's hilarious that the team is actually named after the entirety of what is said in the clip. So I'm super excited to say that name 5 times fast. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to this matchup between Green Mise Alone Ramp and Cenny Sock.
Yes, indeed, it is going to be Green Mise Alone Ramp roster, and I just wanted to try and say it with you. Against Cenny's Sock, and yes, between these two, it's going to be an interesting match, as we've already seen two teams battle it out. We had HSL Academy claim victory over New Ricky Esports, so now with that being done, moving forward, again, single elimination, this will still be a best of 5 for us, those that are tuning in and viewing. And we're going to go back on Nepal. That's the consistent map that we have for this first control map leading into the remaining courses. And honestly, we've seen some really great play early with the Orisa utilizing the environmental space. We saw some subtle Pharah play that was there, but some really stellar Baptiste play that we've highlighted. If those of you that have just tuned in have not seen earlier today, I mean, Necra, it's been nutty, and you've had so many great talking points on the Baptiste.
I think that's something that Ding really hit home in the interview as well, where the flex support just has so much more agency in this new meta, where you could get back to clicking heads. So we're seeing the reemergence of characters like Zenyatta, like Baptiste. Anna can't hit headshots, but she could do a lot of damage. And that's been the fun part, is seeing these flex support players pop off after being stuck on something like Moira or a Brigitte for so long.
Yes, and again, a lot of people are thinking, oh my goodness, like there's a huge buff to Zen just because they buffed him. It's more so at the fact that because of how the shield's health values were reduced, allowing that opportunity to place the Discord Orb onto the specific focus fire targets and really just being able to frag out like we've seen from times prior. And it's really spoken a lot of volumes. We saw it even specifically on Route 66 coming out by, New Ricky Esports, where that Zen play was very critical, regardless of the fight not going in, their favor at the time. But still, that amount of damage being pumped out and the target priority and calling was very critical.
It's about the Discord orbs, it's about the target priority, and it's about the follow-up. Discord orbs don't mean a thing if you can't actually get the chicken wing, So you got to be able to get that chicken dinner on the line if you want to win out those team fights, and it all comes down to the communication. So I love that the flex supports now have the ability to kind of set the pace of fights, whether it is going to be with the immortality fields, or it's going to be with the amplification matrices. You heard it from Ding right from the mouth that window of opportunity could still be a big issue for a lot of teams to deal with. And it's a lot about how you use it.
Very much so. And we are now going on to the map of Nepal, and we could potentially see some more environmental kills. We're going to start on this map once again for that lovely little pit of death that we can use. And, I have not played Zen in a while, and I'm looking forward to it, especially after watching some stellar play here and really being able to see how these teams capitalize. But the things that are still very relevant, as much as the shield has been reduced, we're still seeing some decent functionality from a dual shield composition on certain segments of the map. So it's not completely vanished from, any sort of gameplay, because it still holds value, but it's just how these teams like to use it in conjunction with the map segment that they're on.
I think that this double shield is going to be more potent for the team that ends up taking control of the point first. You often see an Orisa on the map of Nepal Sanctum because you could just hunker and bunker and you don't move. That's the beautiful opportunity that Orisa provides to a team composition. But you're also still seeing dredges of the old compositions that we saw even from Neriki and HSL Academy, where you have a Hanzo. Interestingly enough, Cenny Sock is going with a little bit of a more unique choice with the Torbjorn, but you still have the Hanzo play, which is there to really delete those shields.
On the high ground, you do have, again, Cenny's looking to give some early damage through that side choke point. Nice takedown onto the turret early so that it does not have that pump of damage. Almost getting knocked off here is Jar with that Orisa play. The boop going to come out, but nobody yet really taking the point. Really just keeping this fight on that upper position where the stairwell is before collapsing down. A lot of damage going here onto Cenny's. Green in a very good position to rotate down to this point, but the respect is still there for both of these teams.
respect, but now you're seeing the aggression come through from Green. They know that they can take control of this point first as long as they can bully them off, but Cenny was waiting for this amplification matrix, the window of opportunity.
Now pushing them into the back corner. It will be Cenny Sox in a difficult position. The Red's going to come out, able to get the Orisa back online, but still there's so much damage by this Tracer and harassed in the back line. Just dodging around these shields, looking for the support play. It will go down by the Hanzo on the high ground, just collapsing in the back, forcing the remaining members of Cenny's into this choke point, and Green in a great spot.
Green is in a great spot, and they didn't have to use any ultimates yet. It was just Cenny Sock that unfortunately got the lower hand of that engagement. But now Dridro on Green does have the amplification matrix, and they've got almost 5 ultimates online here. Ding's even gonna be able to have that transcendence up just in case things get hairy. And if we see Fi on Cenny Sock actually use this Dragon Strike in this next match.
40% the damage boost here onto the Hanzo play. Early shot though by Fi. Great job taking out that Zenyatta play in the back. There's the double even. Looking to try and get a third here. And now you see Cenny is just really forcing the remaining members off this point. There is a cleanup and changeover. It's no longer climbing at 51% for Green.
Ooh, and the staggers are so real. Green actually can't get away from this one, and they actually stalled for about 10% progress on Cenny's. Fi is just such a remarkable projectile DPS player. You actually see them more on their signature hero of the Pharah than you would the actual Hanzo, but I love how they've been playing this hero so far. And now the Dragon Strike has an opportunity to either go for some kills with Jeru's pull on the Orisa, or just to segment the team and make sure that this engage gets disrupted.
Coverage still trying to prevent that amplification matrix damage. The pulse bomb not going to get the kill in the back line, with Fi looking for a chance to use this Dragon Strike. The amplification matrix is out, but an accretion comes in to get a nice stun. There's the follow-up after the stun lands. Collapsing to this point, Green wants to change it, but the big Dragon Strike going to be mitigated. Kinetic Grasp preventing some as well, with the 50 to 51%. Still in favor of Cenny's, but Green trying to just stick on this point, looking for some flanks, maneuvering around and just showing a lot of damage into the few members remaining on Cenny's.
A couple of members, but it still trades back and forth. Immortality Field is down, but the Pulse Bomb lands inside of a shield for Cenny's.
And you now have Cenny's playing so well into that right corridor of that underpass. It just allowed so much regroup potential and survival to prevent Green from getting any major pick potential.
That was well communicated to allow the reinforcements from Cenny Sock to say, you know what, we're going to be just down in the chimney, we're going to try to wait this out, dance around the shield a little bit, and you guys just come back whenever you can get there. But now we're in last fight territory because of the tremendous stall, and this Blizzard is about to be so potent as long as we can see the follow-up.
Dragon Strike trying to counter it though. Great job with the double after the early, the triple in total of quad. Switching it back over into the overtime. 99 no longer reaching the 100 for the time being at 52 and climbing for Green.
But the ultimate economy is in Cenny Sock's favor. They are going to have a Dragon Strike of their own, which has done so much damage to the enemy team of Green. And you have an amplification matrix to send that through. So there's going to be a lot of damage potential here, as well as the supercharger that can get worked up from this amplification matrix.
Stun early on to Dridro. Going to be difficult. The Immortality Field at least thrown just before the execution, allowing some coverage. But the Dragon Strike now in the back. The Maywall going to prevent the removal as that Orisa goes down. There is a quick turn back as you see Cenny Sox having this opportunity to allow nobody to touch it, barely getting there. The Lucio play with the Zen on the low ground. Ding gonna go down, unfortunately. Can't survive through it regardless of the potential frag that we've seen before, as that supercharger nears for Cenny Sox, making sure to secure this point. That extra damage boost is going to allow this just dominant play on this point. Even though the staggers are coming out, the Lucio really buying a lot of time here for Green, and the Sigma gets there just to stall this out.
Yeah, but look at the split push that we have here, the split defensive pressure from Cenny Sock. It's hard for Green to come in without taking too much damage.
And there's that Cenny Sox 100% finally taking down Dridro, who we've seen on the Lucio before give a great stall and delay in the timer. But again, the longer it's there, the faster it wicks away. And it happened very quickly after that pick. Now going into this next map, which we've seen some variation, we've seen some far play as well. And is Cenny Sox going to show it? They look like they're going to. And Green will also hover over it themselves. So we'll be interested to see if the adjustment to the support lineup is going to complement this potential Pharah play.
I think so. I think we're going to see SFX and Dridro utilize this Lucio to just speed boost the team out of the point and then switch over to a Mercy. You can't really play Pharah in this meta without the Mercy there to help damage boost some of those rockets, because otherwise you're not getting all that shield break. So watch this. Dridro and SFX absolutely going over to the Mercy here.
Going to give some great assistance. SFX will switch here for Cloud on the front. Get that early engagement potential, a lot of high ground relevancy for Cenny Sox, and there are so many members of both teams all over this map really going to try and reconvene towards the center section. And now you see Cenny Sox aggressing, trying to get the pick here onto that Orisa play. Helv barely surviving, the rockets raining overhead, but the play here from Green on the Pharah is actually being able to gain some value. Now maneuvering onto the point. The early pick went in favor of Cenny Sox, but now starting to transition back over with the numbers in favor of Green. Picking him off this continued skirmish, nobody really yet claiming the advantage, and finally, slowly but surely goes in favor with that pulse bomb coming out and damage by the tracer to Green.
If you're watching how Green is playing this hybrid pharmacy dive, it's immaculate. I love watching Ding put a Discord orb on somebody, and then you have Tensei and Emil that are on the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball respectively, just going in and being aggressive, and they're all working together so well that Dillage is also able to land some big damage for Emil and Tensei to follow up on. So it's been great to watch that happen. They're rewarded with the point, but now this is where Cenny Sox needs to make a bit of an adjustment here. Fi switching over to the Mei will help to slow down a lot of that Tracer play here, and maybe even some of this Pharah play.
Tracer harass still from the low ground, trying to get a chance to take some damage on to Sorcerer. Will even exchange both Mercies down, so it's really going to be critical to see who's Pharah can gain the early advantage. Immortality still coming out from Cenny, with that amplification matrix being held onto, looking for the chance to drop it, most likely for some team synergy here. Transitioning to the point, there's enough damage coming out that you will have it held onto, along with that great rocket barrage being maintained from Cenny. And just slowly but surely trying to push forward. This 50% marker already reached by Green. The pulse bomb going to be held, looking for a chance to drop. It does get stuck, but will go down a double in favor of Cenny's on the Orisa play, and just needs to really get these last couple members of Green off the point.
Rich, you talk about damage, I'm going to talk about healing. The fact that both Mercies went down meant that there was just more healing available to Cenny Sox, but the barrage coming back is just not enough. Green is stalling around this point.
SFX getting the res, allowing the Baptiste to be there on the point is critical, but this stall really giving Green so much percent. The fight initiating at 50% and being stalled out for this long to almost over 35% right now, and the Wrecking Ball still getting value.
The Wrecking Ball's finding value because the one thing that Green wanted to grab here was that last fight territory, and with the 87% captured progress, they absolutely did that. Now Cenny Sox, though, because they executed a lot of patience, knowing that just the stalls were coming in, they didn't have to use any ultimates here. They're going to have 5 to use, even though they blew the Pharah barrage. So I want to see them rotate through these ultimates effectively so that they're not using everything here, even though this Wrecking Ball mines coming in from Green might crowd control a couple people after this point.
Yep, taking out a lot of the shield. Transcendent's going to be forced, though, by Ding to keep presence on this point. The Blizzard going to be there. That defensive ultimate really trying to mitigate that Blizzard in the back, but now Rocket's raining from behind, trying to switch it. Will be able to, but again, there's that last fight territory you talked about. 89%, 10 remaining. Can Cenny Sox gain any sort of composure to try and get back into this? The members that are so far forward have to be committed to try and compete against this, but Ding gets the kill again.
Ding gets the kill. Gravitic Flux now incoming. Maybe our Barrage of Cloud can do it, but actually flies a little too high.
Yeah, it's not going to reach it. It will be just shy. So, but now we've got Green claiming map 2 of this Nepal, and we'll see exactly who's going to be able to take this third map.
Ooh, we're going over to Village. We already saw a little bit of Mei play, but it's not going to be any Mei play this time. Sticking to the tried and true for both of these teams that worked on Shrine. Now we're going to see much of the same here on Village, where you've got a Pharah, you've got a Hanzo. It's going to be almost a mirror composition here, but the big difference is that Emil for Green is still sticking to that Wrecking Ball. And I love this choice, not because of the environmental kills that are available, but because that minefield, it covers the entirety of this capture point.
Yes, it really does. And now with 20 seconds before the control point becomes active, you already see Green getting some low ground presence with the Wrecking Ball, be pushed forward with the Orisa. But again, here comes this rush by Cenny, really trying to play that high ground position, looking for the advantage, but this Pharah play just dominating with Ding working well in synergy to force Cenny back. Green really starting to download the type of play style that Cenny is having and turning it around in this map in Nepal.
Ding's got to feel so good about being able to play Baptiste here. You could see how much damage that Ding was able to do, not just with the healing, but they do have the amplification matrix already. But Fi sure gets the prowess once again on yet another hero, the Widowmaker. Gonna be switching over to the McCree as well, and it's just checking Diligent right now in the skies.
Playing that structure very well with the Pharah halt into the center as the immortality field is going to be forced out. The rotation here from Cenny is going to be critical with that McCree trying to get some decent coverage. Blocked heavily, though, by that barrier from the Orisa. Fortify coming out as well. Can't seem to get nearly as much opportunity. Flashbang going to get a stun, so the follow-up can occur. That Pharah still dealing some significant damage with the Mercy. Fi finding value here once again on this McCree play. As the minefield comes out, and this is what you were talking about, it controls the entire space of the point.
Rich, did you just see that flex by Dridro? Did you see that Battle Mercy flex? Oh my goodness. That's the kind of excitement that I'm talking about for these Overwatch matchups. Wow, that was... I'm so proud right now. You're
Mercy
absolutely right. Mercy Main, super proud right now. But Green has controlled the point right now, working up to 60%, and they have a bunch of tools to be able to hold on to it as well. But the big difference here is it really comes down to who's going to hit this barrage first, because whoever hits first, that's kind of the last chance.
It looks like it could be in favor of Cenny first. The Dragon Strike coming through the backside, trying to sever the team, but we've got Diligent on the backside looking for an opportunity, but Fi causing a lot of problem here on this McCree. Can't allow the open gameplay for the Pharah for Green to really get as much value as it was earlier. Moving on to the point, Supercharger in the backside from Cenny, and there's the Deadeye to take down Ding. Not what you would like to see happen, but Fi gonna come in for a cleanup with the triple kill, switching it back at 91%.
Oh, that Supercharger just did so much work, and the placement of it by Jeru was incredible. It was right around the corner, even the shield was blocking it, and Green didn't really have a chance of being able to actually take it out. So now that there was really only the Supercharger plus the Deadeye that was utilized here on Cenny's Sock, they still have the Gravitic Flux, and guess what? There's no defensive ultimate on the side of Green. Sure, Valkyrie's going to be able to do a little bit here, but you got to be careful of what this Gravitic can do. Except maybe you just take them out before they can even use the ult.
Yes, indeed. That is very critical. If that ult is no longer there, it's going to be difficult with that. Res coming out just in time, though, by SFX. The Gravitic Flux still potentially usable as the Accretion comes out onto Diligent with a follow-up. Great pick in the back. Now dropping that Flux on the front, only getting one. The Fortify going to prevent any sort of lift from Green on the Orisa. 50% in climbing the rockets, raining, but can't get nearly as much value of what has been wanted. But still numbers advantage. Cenny picking off the remaining members of Green, and now in a good spot to keep climbing.
Yes, this is a good spot for Cenny's Sock, and they do have the high noon, but that's kind of what I'm worried about, is if Diligent can go in with the pocket from Dridro and just take that McCree out, then there really isn't too much that's going to be able to stop Diligent from hitting a Pharah barrage here. Except maybe Cenny can soak up some of that damage, but that's a tall order to ask of just one Sigma. So this is going to be last fight territory. Green's coming in with a game plan, and they need to execute it soon.
Looking to break down the barriers on the front side. Rockets still raining again. Look at how far back Diligent is playing to try and respect that corner around that architecture. Ding having the amplification matrix, so really going to try and use it through this choke point. Most likely pushing forward 95%. Last opportunity to try and touch it. The aggression coming out by Cenny to keep away from this position. Has to force it forward. Dragon Strike going to come through, gaining one onto SFX with a switch from that Mercy play. And now going to get some damage thrown back by working well with the Sigma on the point. Overtime, which flanking away. Can Green get back to the point? Not going to be able to do so. You are going to have Cenny's Socks claiming victory on this first map of Nepal.
First map of Nepal, first map of the series. Very excellent team play coming out from Cenny Sock. But I honestly think that a lot of it had to do with just how much Diligent got checked on the Pharah. You had both Cloud and Fi ready and waiting to deal with a lot of that Pharah barrage damage, as well as just the aerial arsenal. So I'm super excited to see how Cenny Sock kind of adjusted to that, but this is still a super close series.
Very much, and without this map completed, the control, we are going to allow Green to select which map is coming up next from the pool. It will be an escort as the next one here. Again, Route 66, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, or Havana. And with that, map choice, we've already seen Route 66 because of that type of, ceiling gap for a Baptiste to play. We've had Ding talk about it, and we're looking forward to maybe seeing that be played moving forward onto this. But we're going to go to a brief break here just before the next map begins to let these teams decide on what the choice will be. And we'll be bringing more action very soon, friends. Welcome back, friends, as we go to the map of Havana. As you will see, Cenny Socks looking to try and continue their stride moving forward, while Green looks to try and get that green light to go with 30 seconds now as these teams assemble. And between the two of them, I mean, honestly, I think one of the biggest things that we've been really focusing on is a lot of the support play, and it's very relevant. And I'm curious to see if Green is going to try and... We saw the adaptation trying to, get this all out, because, we had Ding, who was specifically playing a lot of the Baptiste. He had a little bit of the Zenyatta play. What would you like to see more of from these supports if there was something that you'd want to change?
I wonder whether or not the Zenyatta is enough. I'm not sure that it is, and so I actually kind of wonder if, it's especially not enough if you have a Mercy that ends up getting taken out of the fight. So that's one of the reasons why we saw Cenny Sock take a couple of maps in Nepal off of Green. So I just caution Green against utilizing a Mercy in a Zenyatta if the Zenyatta is not going to be able to get the support that it needs. Remember that Ding mentioned this, that Zenyatta is a frail and fragile hero. So you have to give it a little bit more of the resources, and the tanks need to be conscientious of that so they don't go in when they don't have the support necessary. But we are going to see a little bit of a shakeup here. It's going to be a Widowmaker now coming out from Green, who we did switch sides, by the way. So Green's going to be on the attack as Cenny Sock kicking off his defense.
Yes, indeed, it will be again, yes, that defensive side here being Cenny. As that halt comes out, and we've seen this before. This May play with the Pharah is really devastating, having that high ground presence, and it forces this attacking team to really have to be critical on thinking about what they're going to push forward with. A lot of damage coming out, though, by Tensei, able to get that kill early. A double kill now, second on the Phi, and looking to push this payload forward.
Green's definitely going to be pushing this forward, and they also get the Mercy stagger. That was really brutal, but I definitely think that Green's going to be getting about half of this point before Cenny Sock's able to come back, and they're definitely outpacing in terms of ultimates. Green already able to use the amplification matrix here, and they're going to have a Transcendence. That was one of the big keys that I was worried about for Ding there, getting up to the Transcendence in those crucial moments, because they're about to need it versus what Cenny Sock is coming back to this defense with.
On the high ground, you see Cenny looking to get some opportunity for damage. The amplification matrix on the low ground, trying to get a decent amount of pincer maneuvers with that high ground dropping down. Cenny mitigating a lot as the Dragon Strike goes high in the air through the upper position, trying to get some value. Ding gonna force the Transcendence after taking down Cenny. Regrouping here near the payload, having a good chance to keep this up. Emil gonna go down as Sorcerer gets the kill. With 2 minutes and 25, it's a good chance here for a reset. Green needing to be very aware and actually coming out on top towards the end. And Ding showing off some Zen play. Feeling confident now.
Oh yeah, I mean, just use the Transcendence and already has 30% charge towards another one, and Helv is ready with the Supercharger, so that Transcendence is going to get worked up so quickly. Green looks to be in a very good position here. Even Cenny Sock has recognized the value of a Zenyatta, SFX switching over to one as well, because those Discord Orbs, just such a powerful part of this toolkit for each of these teams.
Now with with that halt in the back, trying to pull some of the members from Cenny out in the open for some damage. Really going to reside on both this high and low ground position from Green. Once again, they've done it very well. Now the supercharger dropped to make sure that there's enough push back to shut this momentum forward down. Stun not going to land by the accretion. This such a survival from Green on this push forward. These healers doing a stellar job, and the damage output is significant. As we've talked about so many times, Cenny having to play very close as they fall back. SFX not going to be able to live for much longer as Ding gets the counterplay with 3 minutes and 45 to go around these two cylinders.
Ding gets the counterplay, but Dridro steals all of the attention. It's so fun watching both support players just be able to pop off. Like, what a different meta that we're a part of, where everybody gets a chance to have some value on the team in terms of dealing damage. Now Green approaching the second checkpoint is going to have so much power, but I think the Dragons missed a little bit where everybody was coming in from.
And the Blizzard to make sure that the second point of entry is overrun. A little bit of a duo action there with those ultimates to make sure that nobody can get back in time. Helv going to get the double here. SFX just going to bail out with 3 minutes to go. This checkpoint most likely going to be reached very easily, and Cenny are just going to respect it.
Most likely, most definitely getting reached very easily here for Green. And now they have an extra 2 minutes added to the clock, where this third point is so close now. There's at least a bit of a reprieve here where Steady Stock is giving up a little bit of space so that this cart can move forward past this really brutal checkpoint. But the Blizzard now coming out from Cenny's, that's a huge one.
And that Transcendent's going to be forced to try and survive through a great defensive support ultimate used here to mitigate through it. With a great turnaround again, with now the Gravitic Flux coming online for Green.
Gravitic Flux, a good way to open up the next fight. I just expect to see the supercharger a little bit before that though, just because that can zone out if anything. Not even getting damage, but Fi gets a quick pick. They're gonna at least have to wait for Tense to come back in order to contest.
And with that opportunity, with Tense no longer there, the Dragon Strike comes through to try and get the pick. Crabtree is going to be forced by Diligent to survive. This bridgeway is completely riddled with Cenny with the Amplification Matrix going to get a lot of chance now for damage, even though there's Tense back online and up front with that Dragon Strike. Cloud is going to get that kill early with a Transcendence in return by SFX, leading forward, now keeping some pressure on the payload, and Cenny also having that Gravitic Flux. This will be interesting to see how this next fight's going to go after Cenny cleans up.
Well, this is really, really good for Green because they ended up baiting out a ton of ultimates from Cenny, which means that Cenny for this next defensive hold only has the supercharger as well as the Gravitic Flux and whatever's going to come up at the end of that. Whereas Green has a little bit more at their disposal, but they've got to wait for some of these daggers to come through. This straightaway is just so powerful for Cenny right now.
And look at SFX getting that Discord out quick enough for that damage to just be funneled to where that doorway is. That spawn specifically where Green is so difficult sometimes to get out of because it's really only those 2 points of exit.
Exactly. This stray again, that's why this long range damage on the straightaway is gaining so much value. But Gravitic now, supercharger.
Halt Flux able to get multiple members. Now the return. Can that gain just as much value? Cenny with no additional follow-up from the team already being eliminated. Green picked a great moment to use it. Looking for the stagger now on to the Orisa and will go into this home stretch.
No immortality field available, which meant that Gravitic was going to be huge. So really good job by Emil to kind of scout that out and communicate that with the team that they were ready for that. But the stalls are coming through. Cenny now, even Cenny, where the team gets its name from, coming out on that wrecking ball, and it just goes down immediately as it comes out.
Blizzard on the high ground, locking multiple members down. The supercharger up front, but nice coverage with the Transcendence again defensively to mitigate all of that incoming damage with a potential turnaround. As Tense on the high ground gets the double. Dragon Strike returned by Fi. Since the spawn is coming in late, there's the double to counter, but there's not going to be enough damage. Green having just over a minute, looking to get the remaining portion off of this point. The Lucio from SFX to try and get back in quickly. Cloud switches the Doomfist as well. Moira, everything possible to keep this payload just from getting to the end. It will not matter as round one completed with Green being somewhat revitalized for this map.
I think the movable payload portion helped a lot for Green. I just think with their level of playstyle and how they approach these engagements, the movable payload really allows them to just kind of set up and keep it rolling. They seem like one of those teams that likes to roll with the momentum that they've generated. And you could even see how much they got stuck at the door. That ate 2 minutes off of their clock when Cenny's was able to get set up. So Green, while their run was very formidable, I still think that they're gonna have their work cut out for them versus Cenny Sock.
I agree, and you were very, very right, and you hit the nail on the head about that. Once the momentum and that stride and that advantage was completely stripped away, especially because Ding, when you have Cenny Socks trying to regroup and that Discord orb is so easily applied to a member on the front that's a little bit either overextended or exposed outside of the barrier, Green was so quick to reply to that.
Yeah. Green knew exactly how to respond in that situation. So I definitely like seeing those adjustments come out. But now, here's something that's just even a little bit different, maybe. We'll have to see whether or not this sticks, but I'll at least talk about the defense coming out from Green first. They're going to be using a very similar strategy, but this time taking the close hold. I like the close hold here just because you have the ability to use these May walls to really drive the force of Cenny Sock into a specific position, and that gives so much of a tactical advantage to Green on this defense.
You have Cenny Socks aware of this potential close positioning with the tanks rotating to the outer side. But some of the DPS play Fi trying to go in for tents in the backside, going for that Hanzo v Hanzo battle. Not going to get the kill. Up front, you have Diligent forcing that wall out early from a nice halt that came from Sentry Socks. Now with, again, already an early push, you see Green really rotating through these windows for a great chance to maybe get some pick potential, but it's just this slow, steady pace forward for both teams.
Ooh, look at the flank coming out from Cenny, though. That gives him so much value, finding tents in the backline.
And you see Fi now doing the same on the counter position. Now the freeze though onto Cenny, getting very aggressed on by the team, but it will be Cenny Socks getting a lot of value with that just rotation around this hotel. Even with Fi in the back getting some serious damage with those storm arrows.
I think Green found themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place there once Cenny decided to go on the flank. I mean, the accretions that came out, the stuns that just stopped so much of the pressure that Green was able to put on top of them. And also just being in a small room, that was such a big choke point that Cenny Sock was able to take advantage of. But now the window of opportunity is able to get in a lot of damage while Green makes their way back in, as long as Cenny is able to take advantage of it.
Early pick onto Sorcerer by Emil is really important, though, to make sure that that momentum and extra damage by the support play is taken out. But you still have some respect by Cenny Socks. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Green got the advantage. You have a rotation back. That Maywall going to try and sever some of the team. Cenny trying to give some great coverage for that retreat to regroup as a full 6.
Ding died a hero in that last fight because he split the focus of Cenny Sock's team so much that you were able to see follow-up come through for the rest of the remaining members that were trying to push the cart. There were 3 going after Ding, 3 on the cart, and Green absolutely took advantage of the distraction that Ding caused here. Now, taking advantage of the verticality of the map, there's just so many angles that Green's going to be able to hit Cenny Sock when they come in.
Dragon's trying to engage, leading on the front side with a great early amount of damage. Ding to get the follow-up, resetting here again. Cenny Socks has to just completely reset. They can't afford it. And honestly, if these picks continue to happen, it's going to be really difficult for Cenny Socks.
It's going to be pretty difficult. Now the tables are turned here. We talked about how the straightaway was important for Cenny Sock on the defense of that third point. It's even more important on the defense of this first point. Green hasn't had to use too many ultimates here. Used a Dragon Strike to scare away Cenny Sock from being able to engage here, but just so much damage. Look at how scared Cenny Sock is to actually move in. They're really finding some trouble against Green right now, and they're walking into a Gravitic.
1 down already from the Flux, looking for a second, but the Immortality Field comes out. It's not going to matter. Green, despite the Immortality Field, completely overwhelms that defensive ability. And now with 50 seconds just to go, Green's looking pretty good with their ult economy, but so does Cenny Socks.
Yes, Cenny Socks is coming in with 6 ultimates. I think they might need to use all of them here if they want to have a chance of taking this first point. But it's going to come down to who's going to set the pace of these fights. Who's really going to use the ultimates first.
Gonna try and lead in. There's the Matrix with the now Cenny gravitic blocks. Looking for a quick pick on the high ground. Emil trying to go for that Sigma's Beast. Sigma on the upper position. Emil survived with the Immortality Field, but the Blizzard going to be dropped now. Drawing focus to the payload. Looking to contest. Kinetic Grasp mitigating a lot of it as the Transcendence comes out from SFX to survive through it. Dragon Strike to cross over the center to maybe get a pick onto the Mei. Can't seem to do so as Diligent survives through it with a Cryo Freeze. Halt, bringing the remaining members of Cenny Sox out into the open. Immortality Field active to allow the collapse from Green to keep this going. Might just be able to hold the full defense here before this payload even reaches the next checkpoint. Managing to do so, Green will allow this team of Cennys to reach no more aggression. And that will be a completion here on Havana, as it's actually going to be Green claiming victory here. It was an accidental team name swap, but nobody saw it. So it will be Green taking one map with Dredro getting the play of the game.
We've seen a lot of flex support play the games here, and that's really exciting. This is the era of the flex support again. Definitely puts them in the driver's seat here. Just look at the beautiful amounts of damage here. It's got to feel so good to be able to get those plays.
Oh, definitely. And with that, just again, the highlight: 45% of hero team damage taken healed. That is so much. And even further, Ding with 50% kill participation. These supports are truly making the meta shift draw attention to them. It's no longer how to utilize the barriers on the front side. It's still very critical, but those high-level gameplays, which you've talked about multiple times, and even like we said with the high skill cap, you know, in the interview with Ding, have really, really spoken volumes. And now with us going before this next map, we'll take one last quick break here, just so we can give these teams a moment as we will go into our hybrid map, which is a selection of either Hollywood, Kings Row, or Icon Vault. So don't go anywhere, friends. We'll bring you more action in just a moment. Hi friends, and welcome back. I am RichRad here with Necra as we are going into our third map. Necra, we've got Kings Row selected. And we've already seen some interesting gameplay on this match, especially through after taking the point, moving to the payload through that choke point. What do you think we're going to see between these two teams coming up here?
I really hope we see some more Reinhardt play. I mean, Reinhardt has just Kings Row specifically has been Reinhardt's stomping grounds, and we saw some of that kind of more double shield play, a little bit more death ball kind of coming out from the Reinhardt and the Orisa working together. But I don't know if we have strong Reinhardt's in particular. Helv has just been rocking the Orisa for a couple seasons now of Overwatch, and it's been so fun to watch. But at the same time, I'm like, it's new meta, guys. Let's see if you could change it up a little bit, which Cenny Sock might be doing, but let's at least talk about that defense first.
Yeah, and with the defense here, we've got that just really, really great play by Ding, who started to kind of gain stride here. I feel it was a lot better in Havana than we did see in the control point earlier. So now getting into this momentum of this fight, kind of understanding the opponent, Cenny Sox, we're going to actually potentially see a Pharah coming out here, and that's going to really be interesting to see how that plays.
I don't know if that's smart, running that into Ding Zenyatta and Dredro's Baptiste, because you often look at tents, maybe that sniper there to snipe that far out of the skies, but it's even harder too when you have a Mercy that's getting bullied right now in the air.
Yeah, and there's just so much being pumped around this corner. You see Green respecting that Pharah play, looking for an opportunity, but Fi actually going to take down Tense early. There comes the follow-up. Nice picks, looking to collapse. Ding going to take the Pharah out of the sky, though, with a nice volley in the back, but there's too much point presence by Cenny Sox, allowing Green to have to respond to this, becoming very difficult, losing one member at a time since the entire team of Cenny is on the point, and really just going to allow a great capture moving into this payload phase.
I don't know if Green was ready for Cloud to enter or exit spawn on that Pharah. Because it just looked like there was so much split pressure. Cloud was dealing damage to the back, while Fi was dealing damage to the front, and Green didn't really know where to look in that situation. So now, though, now that they can get a little bit more setup on this second point, I think they'll fare a bit better, but they still have to deal with the dance of the amplification matrix coming out for both of these. Baptiste and Cloud did so much damage on that first push that they also have the Pharah barrage, so that's going to be a ultimate that we're gonna need to see green look out for.
Ooh, almost getting picked out of the sky by Tense with that Hanzo play. The main wall looking to try and slow, block some silence, but that payload's really just going to break it down quickly. T-Sorcerer does have the Ant Matrix no longer available, so Dreedro on this defensive side going to really get a chance as that Dragon Strike looks to try and prevent any sort of fortified positioning. With Cenny Sox now getting a nice return of damage thrown on top of them. That Amplification Matrix helping out Dreedro and the remaining members of the team to try and slow this momentum. Sorcerer barely surviving in this Immortality field, regaining some survival as the coverage comes out from the tanks, and it's just a consistent brawl between the two until a pick actually comes through here.
There's a peppering of some damage, but Cloud's ready at the back line.
Ooh, ding, responding instantly, and the shield was there to block it. With a great Blizzard coming out to try and bring a few members of Cenny Sox to a halt, managing to do so locked in ice. The collapse as Emil gets the triple. And a reset here just after that turning point and going to hold up near the bookstore.
When you don't see that Pharah for a while, you best believe she's coming for you, and probably from an angle that you're not expecting. So I love the reaction time from Ding, ready with a volley to help take that Pharah out before that damage could be brutal into the backline of Green. And now Cloud sees that the opportunity to use that Pharah is long gone. Going to be switching over to the Mei to see if they can match that of Diligent and have the Blizzard battles on the field.
And it was a quick change. I feel it was just really utilizing that rocket barrage and then an instant switch. Ding, though, going to take down one up front. That Discord over speaking volumes again. Here comes the potential follow-up, but the Transcendence is going to be activated. Dragon Strike from a flanking high ground position for Green to really just keep pressure onto Cenny Sox to get nowhere near this doorway.
This was the perfect place for Green to stop the cart because of just how the second point of Kings Road really does play. This bookstore is such a valuable position to take for the defense. And we talked about those straightaways and how potent they are. Let's look at them once again. Even though Cenny Sox is rocking the double shield, they're not rotating through them well enough to really be able to move forward because there's walls in the way. There's Hanzo damage. These barriers can't stay up long enough because Green's just breaking them down too fast.
Their damage output is just absolutely substantial to try and mitigate again. Tense focusing those storm arrows immediately onto him the second that they pop up. A flank going to come out here by Cenny to try and get some damage. Accretion and look for a stun. Can't seem to get past those two barriers since they're back at full health. Vi, though, up top. Here comes a halt flux. Multiple members. Is the Immortality field going to just be thrown a little bit too far to the left? And going to allow some damage to follow up. Dreedro forcing out that amplification matrix to try and take Cenny in the back out. Emil will be killed, unfortunately, in this fight. You have to have Green respect and fall back slightly to try and regain some positioning here, but it won't be quick enough. And now 2 minutes looking to reach this next checkpoint. Cenny Sox are in a good position.
Cenny Sox are in a good position where they're going to have 3 ultimates here. Diligent, though, is ready with the Blizzard, and if they can do this before Cloud can work up to theirs, then there isn't a defensive ultimate online yet. SFX just isn't close enough to the Transcendence that we might see that Transcendence save the team of Cenny Sox from the Blizzard that might come out from Diligent here. So I want to see Green come in and use his ultimates quickly if they want to have a chance at stabilizing their defense.
Tense getting a nice early vision on where the remaining portion of the team is, but Fi going to lead with the Dragon Strike on the low ground, trying to get some damage. Nice bait while they actually lift a few members up, but Fi still finds the double. Blizzard Supercharger, 3 members frozen, but can't get enough damage behind those barriers to take down any member of Cenny. Clean up here, you're going to have that last home stretch available. Green in a difficult spot now with these ultimates hoping to yield some value.
It comes down to who uses the Transcendence first. The Transcendence at the second Transcendence is going to provide so much more sustain and value in the fight, especially if you can kind of push out the first one. So let's see if this Dragon Strike can do just that coming in from Green.
Trying to sever the team. Cryo Freeze is going to be forced down by the Mei play. Cloud not going to have that. Does go down. That's exactly what they wanted for the side of Green. Helve will get the kill as there's 2 minutes still, forcing Cenny Sox back because the Mei is dead. It has to be a back.
Yeah, you gotta go back here, and this is a little bit of a mistake, I think, from Cenny's, where they just did. Wait, they're moving with the Gravitic already.
And the Transcendence is going to be forced by Ding to give the survival. Only one member going to get lifted up. Feel that might have been an overcommitment for an ultimate. Pushing forward, Helve going to also drop the Supercharger. Lot actually used for that. And Cloud, that Blizzard looking really good for them.
Oh, I'm definitely looking at that Blizzard if I'm Cenny Sox, because they just utilized the Transcendence on Green.
And going to drop it a little bit on the low section away from the supports. Didn't lock down any member. You see Green rotating away from it, surviving through, but the damage is still there as Spy comes in with a Dragon Strike to secure it. Nobody touched the payload. That's going to be round 1 completed. Cenny Sox has a minute and 15 on the clock.
Ooh, a minute and 15. And now Green needs to be able to capture all 3 points as well in order to deny Cenny's from having a second opportunity. But my goodness, were these that fight's super scrappy. I just wonder whether Green can win this first team fight and then get the cart rolling so that they can work with the momentum that they can build up from that first point takeover.
And we already saw some Kings Row earlier, and it went to both overtime and gaining 1 minute. So being able to complete with a minute and 16 seconds is still very critical. That is something that is very well in favor of Cenny Sox. But yes, with Green now on the attack, how Ding and Dreedro have been playing for these supports and giving a lot of space. Tense as well with, you know, just that overall DPS play on this Hanzo has been substantial and really just going to try and play these corners to their advantage. And watching how to transition through the hotel, I think, is also going to be important for Green.
Transitioning through the hotel, definitely a factor. I think the way that Cenny's likes to play this, in terms of a defensive strategy, they really like to bait and kite. And I think that Green needs to be aware of that fact, because Cenny is absolutely going to say, you know what? Here, come to the hotel, stay a while, but don't stay too long, because we're going to take you out. So I want to see Green really maybe even use that strategy against them, have someone else, maybe Tense or Ding, flank through the hotel and just ensure that they can't utilize that strategy against them.
As you said, it's stay a while, and as Deckard Kane would say, stay a while. As there's 4 minutes, the team of Green to collapse onto this point. A nice high ground position here by Sorcerer with that Baptiste. But you have this split of the team comp. It's going to be Cenny getting over one. Cloud able to take down an easy pick early, but Dreedro has to force the mercy here. Wants to keep this Pharah alive on the high ground, but now the Ding is no longer there. This is just going to allow Cenny to really run the clock.
Is this going to allow them to run the clock? I want to see Green even just like back up a little bit here, but I could see them taking a macro approach to this, changing up their positioning to see if they can bully Cenny's off of this high ground advantage and wait for Ding to come back.
You have that now, pressure on the point. Emil trying to get some assistance with those barriers, keeping the corner. You see just this constant bob and weave onto the control point as the damage starts to come out from Tense on the high ground, trying to break down 5 with the rockets as well. Cenny forced to retreat back to try and find a more advantageous position with that barrier going to be thrown out. The Immortality Field active will from Ding. Survive as the creature comes out, doesn't get a stun. Crown Freeze going to be forced in the inner corner from Cloud, as the res will be able to follow through. The Immortality Field by T-Sorcerer gave that chance to come back into this, and only 1 tick thus far is taken for Green.
1 tick. They almost had the second one, but this is a scary looking defense from Cenny Sock. I take it all back, Rich. They're not really... They're kiting so much better than I expected them to, especially because of the split focus with half the team being on high ground and the other half being on low ground behind the hotel. It just means that once Green moves in, they're just getting taken out, sniped out of the wave by Spy.
Yeah, Dreedro is unfortunately just getting a little bit overrun. Ding in the backside having to play so careful and use the Immortality Field more for a self-defensive use. But the Animatrix is going to come out, going to try and take down Fi on the high ground. It's going to be a kill, but Dreedro gets the res on to Diligent with that nice rocket barrage to come out. Dragon Strike by Tense to hopefully turn this back. Both teams still committing a lot. Tense starting to get some opportunity for Green to push onto the point, looking for the second tick, wanting the third. Cenny's going to have to get onto this point quickly to try and contest it, managing to do so with the Mei blocking in the corner as the Supercharger still allows a lot of damage. Here comes the executions finally onto Cenny Sox, and now the payload will start moving forward for Green.
Cloud used the Blizzard. and Emil ate it. There's no Blizzard to be utilized on this next push, and this is where momentum starts to take over for Green, where they get to have this offensive and aggressive positioning for their front line, and just allow that card to creep forward. Now, they don't have any ultimates, but I think the way that they've been playing with Half's pulls and utilizing the rockets, Diligent's going to get so much value on this Pharah, as long as those rockets are hitting multiple targets. And Emil as well, able to hit multiple targets with the accretion. These pulls are just going to be so potent and powerful, as long as we see some follow-up here from Green as Cenny moves in for the defensive hold.
With that halt, trying to pull a few members out, really just whittling away at the health values to get these ultimates stacked up. Again, Fi in a good position along with Sorcerer, but many members on this defensive position needing to really get back into this with an ultimate coming, just as Green with that backline position coming out from tents, forcing a lot of damage out. Emil needed to be careful on this Sigma play on the front side. A rotation could come out here, though. Green will see a Baptiste and Sigma flank with the amplification matrix going to be committed to that. Emil getting the double. What a strategic play, dividing and conquering here with a stellar flank that nobody was ready for on Cenny's with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to this next checkpoint.
That was a three-pronged attack, Rich. You had it from the front and both sides. So Green just really surprised the crap out of Cenny there with that type of engagement, and they get the second point. Now they have 4 minutes to try to get the same work done as Cenny was able to do on their attack, but Cenny's is ready. Not only did they just get a quick pick, but they also have the Dragon Strike.
Rez going to be forced out early by Dreedro. That's an advantage here for Cenny to take advantage of. As the Rocket Barrage comes in from behind, sneaking away, but SFX to reply. Great response there. The Immortality Field barely keeping the team alive as FSX gets a double. Resetting this team, 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Still a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, there were no smoke and mirrors on that one. That was just Zenyatta doing good Zenyatta things. It was just like we saw Ding have that kind of response time to the Pharah from Cloud. Now we're seeing the reverse of that. It just speaks volumes to how well these players are actually playing this game at the moment. But Green's moving in with a lot here. The Valkyrie just providing extra damage on top.
Pets with that Dragon Strike in the back. No ability to survive through that type of damage. The Immortality Field was forced earlier. And this is a good opportunity for Green to push forward through this, surviving through a lot. Since now Cenny's going to have to regroup for another hold, as this is going to be probably the last opportunity for Green to capture this on the attacking side.
The Valkyrie was important, but the Mercy alone is just an extra number that Green can utilize. Dreedro's getting some massive resurrects, which means that Cenny has to chew through 7 members of the team, not just 6. So when they come back, I hope they can get some quick picks here, but the Gravitic first.
Now Blizzard going to be dropped after the Flux is active. Try and counter Ding in the back, and use it for some self-explosive damage, taking down Cloud, looking for a follow-up. Transcendence is actually forced here by SFX, looking to withstand that damage, but look at the high ground. It's going to be tense here with this just consistent Hanzo damage. The Blizzard to come in moments after. Diligent is going to go down, but despite that, there's still so much opportunity to collapse onto this, but Cenny's with the respawn advantage really started to come back into this, as the Supercharger gives them the offensive assault.
Yeah, Supercharger needed to be used there in order to keep the defense alive, and they still have tools to do so. That was such an expensive fight for Green. And Ding actually, after utilizing the amplification matrix and being so proficient on the Baptiste, is going to go back over to, I think, what's even more of a comfortable pick there, the Zenyatta. And we need to see the front line be conscientious of this. This is where we saw them get tripped up on Nepal with the Zenyatta and the Mercy as the support duo. Zenyatta's going to need to take a lot of those resources, and if Cenny is privy to this, they might try to bully down that Zenyatta first.
Dragon Strike leading, coming out here from Cenny to hopefully get a pick, even exchange 1-for-1, only losing a tank. Return play with Dreedro getting Emil back online. That's Sigma on the front with the accretion, looking for an opportunity to collapse here onto Cloud, manages to get the kill in the follow-up with 50 seconds remaining. Green, this is their opportunity to complete this with a hopefully non-overtime, as that lift happens with the Flux. Cenny preventing the movement forward. The defense does persevere through that aggression.
This is a tough situation for Green to be in. They don't have any ultimates online just yet. Dreedro even giving up all of that ultimate charge to switch over to the Baptiste. But Cenny Sock is gonna have the Blizzard online first. So this next fight, so important, 15 seconds left. This is the last chance that Green has in order to take the maps off of Cenny's and give them the series advantage.
8 seconds remaining. Has to push forward for Green. Here comes the Blizzard trying to prevent anyone from getting there. The wall is going to be as well. 2 seconds to go. Can anybody touch it on the high ground? No, but he's going to be able to do so. That's going to be Cenny's able to take this win on King's Row with a Blizzard freezing everyone from Green off the payload.
Froze everybody in their tracks for sure, but another flex support play here coming out from T-Sorcerer this time. Amazing. I love the fact that we're seeing supports get celebrated in this new meta because, hey, it's about damn time. It's about time.
And as we do get the cleanup there, we've got the Baptiste able to take that play. Damage block, though, still significant. Even with that reduction, let's take a look at that. Hell, plus 30,000 for the Orisa. What a stellar job. And as we will look to go into the next map, we do see Cenny Sox nearing their completion of this best of 5. We've got 2 maps over Green, which has 1. And now, with this next map going to be the Assault, it will be Hanamura Temple of Anubis, or we also have Volskaya Industries. So, I just have to tell you that with these selection of maps, I kind of almost want to see Temple of Anubis.
I almost do too.
I mean, there's been some variation. We've seen even some Junkrat. We had that last week. That was very relevant. It gives an opportunity for that, or potentially a Pharah play as well, which we've seen be, very well used on these past couple of maps. So, with you also kind of leading into Temple of Anubis, what do you think you would like to see going into this Assault map?
Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Fi showed us Widowmaker for a brief moment, and I was living for it. I mean, we don't get a chance to see Double Sniper too often. And I think that Temple of Anubis would absolutely be one of those maps to see that. So honestly, if I were Green, I wouldn't choose Temple of Anubis. I think that would put too much into Cenny Sock's favor.
Yes, that's very, very true. And with that, again, especially for when it comes down to what we saw a little bit earlier on King's Row, the Widowmaker play towards the end from prior maps, how influential that can be if the space is given. Can be very, very important. And it looks like they're still confirming what the next map is. I mean, the other one that we've seen some consistency in is Volskaya Industries. That's another one that we saw a lot of last week when we take a look back from the first breakable barriers that we had. And it really was interesting to see how the May play was, especially not only on the first position, but the second. And there was even some rare Doomfist play, too, which was quite exhilarating to see, since we've not actually seen too much of that here.
Doomfist seems to not be a part of this meta anymore, and it's actually kind of exciting, especially as a flex support player. Really, it's nice to know that Doomfist doesn't see the same amount of value, especially because you are playing more immobile heroes like Zenyatta. That's a great Doomfist target.
It really is, and because there's no escape potential. I mean, you are literally in somewhat a sitting duck. Even like Ding talked about, it really is very critical on, your positioning and the type of space that you have, because you can be very overrun. And with again, that adjustment to having the opportunity of playing Zen more, it's really interesting to see how that's not as relevant. But yes, so for right now, we are going to go to, I believe, a quick break here.
Just a quick one.
Just so we can go right into the next one here. Again, I think they just need one moment for one of the team members, so don't go anywhere, friends, because we've got more action soon. Hi, and welcome back, friends. It is Rich Rat here with Necra, and we are bringing you the map of Volskaya Industries. We were talking and saying that, it was not so advantageous to Green going on Temple of Anubis, and we think they heard us and are now going onto this map. So, with this being a potential win opportunity here for Cenny Sox, needing to claim this map to make it a, so far, 3-1 score, what do you think Green's going to have to do now on this map to really try and morale boost and turn this around to try and take it to a potential 5th map?
I think they're going to play a little bit split here. I mean, the 3-pronged attack that they did on King's Row was so immaculate and really spoke to their play style that I'd like to see them utilize the verticality of this particular map of Volskaya to their advantage as well. Now, you've got a couple of different vantage points you could sit on. You can sit back right, you can sit back left, you can sit up at the top behind point, you can also sit right on top of the the mini pack here, which is kind of what Green is setting themselves up on anyway. But I like that this gives them some options to at least collapse onto Cenny's Sock team as they move in. But Cenny Sock is running the double sniper. This is a huge high pick potential composition, which means that these shields from Green need to be on point.
Now, as you see, Cenny Sock's moving forward through this underpass. There's the Widow. Tense trying to get some early value, but a lot of damage hyper-focused onto that backline hit scan. Diligent as well, almost being brought down. Just great value coming out from Green on this defensive side, almost getting the picks, but you really have to see them get the execution. The Immortality Field surviving through that damage. No one really yet getting an early pick, and still just trying to get some nice halt combinations as 5 at least takes down Tense in the back.
That's a huge pick because Dridro needs to utilize the Resurrect here, and it's buying time for the Immortality Field to come back online for T-Sorcerer on this defense.
Shield still being whittled down slowly but surely, and you have Sock on the back side looking to try and get that opportunity to move through this doorway, but the Maywall gonna block it. Immortality Field dropped as well by Sorcerer to consistently keep the team alive for Green. Nice picks coming out from the tank up front, and it's gonna be a reset here for Cenny's.
I am also completely wrong about this because we should have known that since Cenny is on the blue team, that Cenny Sock is on the defense. So please ignore my Papaganus. Please watch this incredible flank by Tense that did get the pick onto Fi. But yeah, that's my bad, Rich. My bad.
Oh, yes, it totally is. There was a swap on that, so you are absolutely correct.
Whoops.
We will like to correct ourselves moving forward again. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. So the defensive side here, again, with the amplification matrix coming out from Sorcerer, maybe going to get a potential boost of damage to shut down Green's attack, with Dridro forcing the Valkyrie out. Help having that sound barrier, but the Widowmaker coming with a double, now with the Infrasight for looking for a third, as the Blizzard has to be forced by Cloud to stop this push forward from Green. Diligent barely surviving once again. That Dragon Strike coming out, most likely going to be used once obtained to complete this, but because there's only few members remaining, Cenny just trying to hold on to this point, mitigating it with the kinetic grasp, starting to go in favor of Green, and holding on to the ultimates here to lead into the next point.
This holding on to the ultimates is so important for Cenny's because it means that they can stop a lot of the snowball pressure that Green likes to run away with. I mean, Green has a couple of ultimates to their name as well, so this is going to be a heavy-hitting fight for both teams. I expect a lot of resources to get utilized here unless Cenny's is able to get some quick picks while Green is making their move in.
Looking at Tense, just trying to find these sightlines without being overly exposed is really interesting. Trying to just get those couple picks on the low ground, but the shields are there. Can't be broken down quick enough for Tense to find the value. It's really going to be once the rotation from the high ground from Green enters into that lower section, Tense is going to have the chance to pop off here.
Tense is definitely going to have the chance to pop off because now that the tanks create some space with this gravitic flux, yeah, Tense has all the sightlines in the world.
Lifting into the air, doesn't get the shot onto Sorcerer. The amplification matrix is still held onto as the Immortality Field was forced. Dragon Strike now through the center, getting some decent damage onto the team. Rez also going to be unleashed by SFX to try and keep Cloud alive. Will go down immediately after the Rez. 3 minutes and 30, making it very difficult. Cenny trying to just get some harass on that Baptiste in the back, but only committing it to that as the Transcendence from Green. Ding on the front, solidifying this position as the Doomfist now comes out. 5 trying to help with this respawn advantage back onto the point, but it's really just being drawn out so much, and Green in such a good spot.
I told you we were going to see a lot of ultimates here. Green is taking over with the amount of pressure that they put on, but the respawns for Cenny's are coming in faster. I wonder if Green could do enough against this Blizzard.
Cloud is going to be the MVP of ultimate usage right now to strip any opportunity for Green to take it. Cloud and also Cenny working together with their compositional switches to survive. 2 minutes and 40. Green, at least having the pulse bomb.
Cloud's not clowning around, Rich. You almost got that one right. But not quite there. But yeah, Cloud really saved that push there for Cenny Sock on the defense. And now they also have the amplification matrix, but it was such a heavy investment from both teams that Green almost needs to take a dry run here unless they can work up to these frontline ultimates that Helv and Emil are so close to with the Supercharger and the Gravitic respectively.
And And again, 2 ticks already obtained for green is still very substantial. Looking now to have to play extremely critical with Cenny Socks in the back. Can't allow any sort of aggression. 10 still going to find one. Now trying to push forward with a Storm Arrow to get another. Spy has to bail. Getting some decent healing and really just trying to rotate around this to get that 6 as the Flux comes out, lifting multiple members. SFX going to hit the ground hard. Does go down by Helve. Now Green looking to put the nail in the coffin to remove any member remaining from this position. Cenny Socks in a difficult spot. 1 member trying to hold on. Fi goes down. Here is the completion, and you will see this round 1 with 1 minute and 34 seconds in the bank.
Now it's Cenny Sock turn, and while we messed up the team names at the very beginning of the map, the information that I said was still correct for the players that were on the team. It's Cenny's that likes to kind of keep like a 3-3 approach to a lot of their team fights. And I think that's really intelligent. I would like to see Cenny's utilize it again here because Green sometimes doesn't know what to do when it comes down to splitting the focus. You definitely saw that on King's Row when Cenny's originally came out of the gates and set up on the defense for King's Row. So I want to see that kind of same pressure come out again. But Green is starting to get privy to that style and that tactic. So I have no idea how this one's going to end, but I have some hopes for what's going to happen with this next fight.
Agreed. And, you know, with Green, this is the last opportunity. Again, single elimination. You have to lay it all on the line here for the second weekend of the Breakable Barriers.
Absolutely.
As we look now to see for this defensive position, nothing really of too much surprise, except that I was going to say, Ding now going on the Baptiste. I was going to say Zen Mercy was a little interesting with how often they've been playing the Baptiste and how well they've been playing it. I would be so surprised that Green didn't take it, and as you can see, the late change up. Because the Zen I just don't think is going to have as much value in this type of support competition for the team.
It has impact with those Discord orbs, but it doesn't have sustain, and that's the biggest problem. I mean, I like Baptiste Zen maybe a little bit better, but honestly, the way that Dridro's been playing the Mercy, I think this is super strong for Green in terms of their support lineup where, you know, we can have Dridro really focus on damage boosting the tanks, and the Baptiste just does so much AoE healing that the tanks are totally safe.
3 minutes and 35 seconds. Nice halt to pull up to the high ground, forcing out the cryo freeze on Cloud. No defensive moving forward, going to play patiently, but now Diligent gets the kill on the Cenny, able to get that tank out of the fight early, just completely falling back now for Cenny Socks.
Oh, that happened so quickly, too. Diligent saw the opportunity, and both Diligent and Ding were able to kind of utilize the wall to get up to the high ground and just get the one-up. And now staggers are coming through. This is really clinical here for Green at the moment, and because they've been winning out these fights, they're going to start getting ultimates online.
Look at Cenny now on the front, trying to find a stun onto Tense. Can't seem to do so, but here's that damage boost. Those arrows just really whittling down every member of Cenny early to try and even turn this corner. It's just really a patient play, trying to maybe get around to that inner doorway, but still, the Immortality Fill forced out already.
That's 20-second cooldown. That's a long one, and T-Sorcerer's not going to have that as they move in. These barriers already taking so much. The experimental from Cenny even is not going to be as healthy as they make this rotation around, but also Cenny's off on their own.
On the high ground, Amplification Matrix going to be dropped, but into the Dragon Strike. Huge turnaround here. Won't be able to get any value now. The cleanup remains for Green. And what a hold right now. The attack going to try and compete. Fi really just doing some Fi things all alone in the back. There's 2 minutes and 10 still to go.
Yeah, but Dridro's still there. That Mercy being such a formidable tool in this kit that Green has developed for this defense that you're fighting against 7 members. These picks really matter, but the picks are happening more for the defense than they are for the offense at the moment. So now there's a whole slew of ultimates, 2 minutes left. Cenny Sock has nothing right now for this push.
Really just going to be trying to play it absolutely safe, this neutral fight for them, but lots of ultimates for Green will get a nice starting pick early onto Cenny once again. And it's just being so hard. These staggered picks are truly not being any sort of favor for Cenny Socks.
No, and they have a minute and a half left. is Green, because of these quick picks, have been able to just hold on to ultimates and put them in the bank. So their bank getting a little full here, the economy really heavily in their favor. Stonks are just going up, Rich. I mean, they're going to have 5 ultimates to choose from for this next fight, where Cenny's is still only looking at having the support ultimates online as they kick things off.
Amplification Matrix for Cenny Sox into the Blizzard. Transcendence going to be used. Has to be at this point. SFX both support ultimates now expended. Hopefully Cloud can turn this around, but EMEA with the block able to gain 2. The follow-up. Now Cenny no longer there. 45 seconds to go, and I have to say, there was still a lot of ultimates committed to that fight by Green.
There were a lot of ultimates committed to that fight. I think the Supercharger was just the cherry on top of the cake, but they still have the Amplification Matrix. They still have a second Dragon Strike, but fine with a quick pick there. This is going to give the numbers advantage to Cenny's, unless Teardro could get this off, and thank goodness they had the excellent barrier placement there from Hell.
Flux to come out. Correction, Blizzard going to be thrown on the point, locking down multiple members. Fi actually able to take down Ding. Dragon Strike to counter by Green, hopefully to prevent any member of Cenny Sox from capitalizing on this point, but the cleanup is now actually going in favor of Cenny Sox. Rotating around this point and able to keep the overtime alive. Transitioning into the second point, but this is still a tall order for completion, especially since a long patch ago. It is now only 3 minutes to work with.
Might be a little bit of a longer road here, but Cenny's is making some adjustments that I think are going to help them with the snowball. SFX going to the Mercy will give them just a bit of an edge in the fight, where it evens the score a little bit. Instead of a 6v7, it's now a 7v7 with those Resurrects, and really you have these ultimates on the side of Cenny's that can help to continue the snowball. This is real snowball potential territory.
Now, playing that high ground position, the Orisa up top mitigating the damage, almost being brought down. Cenny Sox having to play careful, dropping to the lower section as the Amp Matrix comes up again. Flux gonna lift up potentially someone, but no, the Fortify is there. Committing that early from Cenny on to Hell was just not nearly as much value. Trying to rotate across this open plane. The flank from Cenny Sox now dislodging Emil along with the supports away, blocked off by the wall. But still, it's just being so hard. SFX to get the res onto Cenny to try and recontest this. Now comes the movement forward, getting as much chance to push on, but this Dragon Strike will contest. Dragon v Dragon going in favor of Tense, gaining the triple here. Minute 48 seconds. You see a nice reset on this defensive side. Res coming out by Teardro to hold on, but there's still a contest here.
Still a contest, but the Dragon Strike helped a lot in order to stabilize the defense. Cenny Sox almost had a tick, but now they actually have ultimates to be able to come into this next engagement with that are going to be a little bit more powerful than what they had before. They have the Blizzard, but Green has one to fire back. But the big defining difference is that Teardro does not have the defensive ultimate online anywhere close to it. So the Blizzard from Cenny's might be big in order to legitimately snowball.
Hashtag Blizz win. We're going to see who can get that one as there's 60 seconds now. Fi might try to lead with a Dragon Strike here to dislodge again and separate the team on the front side. The damage boost will most likely be there as well with SFX. Nice early pick onto Diligent, and Cloud does go down. There we go with that Immortality Field drop to try and survive as the Supercharger will be used as well. SFX getting Cloud back for that potential Blizzard. That was perfect to get that res out, but the Supercharger is still causing a lot of problems here for Cenny Sox to get onto this point. 35 seconds. They need this moment.
They do need this moment. They need this Blizzard to be big. They really need this Blizzard to actually hit here. Cenny Sox wants to be able to take this into extra innings and maybe get a draw on the map, but as it looks, Rich, we might actually be going to a map 5.
I mean, at this point, it's very likely going into a control point as we've got 10 seconds remaining. Cenny's going to lead with a Supercharger around the inner corner. Blizzard going to be dropped on both sides. Who will prevail with the freeze? 1-for-1 exchange. Tense with the Dragon Strike going through that position, able to get one. Now going to have Ding cleaning up onto this, forcing everyone away from Cenny Sox. And now we will for sure be able to, with a 2-2 match score, see the control of either Lijiang Tower or Busan.
No way. What a phenomenal performance. And again, shows how close these teams are. When we're getting to this part of the bracket, this is almost expected, right? Best of the best. And we're definitely seeing some of the best here between these two teams.
And it's just down to those really just key plays. So many things about it, the communication here. And going into this control point, though, is going to be very important. We saw Cenny Sox being able to play a little bit better than Green Green, but now that Green Green has been able to play Cenny Sox for over the course of 4 maps, to adjust going into this control point is going to be very critical, especially the selection between either Lijiang Tower or Busan. There's a lot of verticality to it, there's a lot of open spaces, and just some diversity amongst each map independently.
I don't really know what I would pick if I were Cenny Sox. I mean, I almost want to pick Lijiang just because I want to see more of that fair play. You have Cloud and Feet that are both phenomenal Pharah players. So maybe see some of that. I don't know.
I mean, again, it's one of those things that between both maps, it's going to be interesting. And it's how both of these teams are going to carry over their type of play style now into this. And it looks like it will be a selection of Lijiang. So now with Lijiang Tower, there again, we've talked about, you know, the garden, which has a lot of open positioning. We've got Night Market that also has that potential for a Pharah play, where once we lead into, you know, center, it's not as beneficial to have that if we want to try and have that rotated back into this. And that's also where we could potentially see a lot of the Mei play. We typically see it into that center map where that, you know, upper high ground is very well used because of those servers and just the ability to block off segments. So there's so much opportunity just waiting for both these teams. And honestly, with Lijiang Tower selected, it really could be anybody's game.
It really could.
Yeah. And there's really no other words to say about it. And with how these supports have both been playing on both sides, and the DPS have been able to find value, especially when it comes to these blizzards, as we just saw towards the tail end of it, like on Volskaya Industry, the ult management is, as in any match that we see, very critical.
Ults, I think, have a little bit less value from the DPS than what we have normally seen. Like, this is almost playing in this meta as more of like the triple DPS, where you shoot your shot, sometimes it misses, and that's okay. You end up building up those ultimates so quickly because of the agency, not only from the flex supports, but also just the DPS, that it's okay for you to not have massive ultimates hit anymore. But what it does come down to is how you rotate through those, where you don't want to overlay too many ultimates on top of each other and then not have enough, because ultimates can really swing the fight if some team has them online and the other one just doesn't.
Very much. And, you know, and it, because you're really not trying to just stake everything on your DPS. Like, that ultimate is going to be so critical. You know, when we see, you know, like a Death Blossom that comes out that gets, you know, multi-kills, or when we saw the, you know, Meteor Strike Hulk combination, how much value that could work in synergy, what we had before the patch. There's so much to that. And, you know, with the map selection, like I said, of Lijiang Tower, we'll be able to see, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into it to see who will be able to claim this best of 5 between, I'm going to take a stab at it. You know what? I'm going to do it. Green me, say alone ramp roster against Cenny Sox. I had to take a breather for a second, as Hog would say, to get that out.
I want to know where Cenny Sock gets their name from. Like, is Cenny are they rank or something? You know, are they just dirty? Because Cenny Sock's been playing pretty dirty themselves. So I don't know. I got to pick their brain about that one next time, because that's pretty fun.
Definitely do.
But I have a fun fact for you.
Yes, I need the facts.
All right, I have a fun fact for you. If you guys didn't know, maybe some of the players at Cenny Sock look a little familiar because you might have seen them in the Open Division practice season for EU. It is basically half of an Ex-Oblivione team.
Yes. We've seen, and again, Dredro has been very, very relevant in that specifically. Again, the Lucio play is coming out here even now in this map, and I can't wait to see how it's going to function. And a little bit of a change up here. Ding, opting to go for an Ana. Curious if this sticks and how well it is going to function, as you have Dredro rotating now for the Pharah.
I like this. I like this a lot. I want to see Ding show us the prowess on the Ana, which is a hero that they're absolutely known for. So you remember we've seen this before, the pulls plus the bio-nades, how much damage that can do. You can mitigate so much of the healing potential from the Mercy and the Baptiste. It's on Sunnystock's side.
Helm's getting overrun and the change of focus. Ding, unfortunately, is going to get picked off here by Cenny. Not yet claiming the full value of that Ana place as Cenny Socks will move forward. Looking for a pick. Cloud going to get some double action onto both Par and Tracer. Taking this point quickly. Green having to regroup.
Yeah, Green is going to have to regroup after the Ana goes down. You just don't have the same amount of healing for your tank line. I think this is... Oh, no! Cloud! Ding just can't play the game right now.
No, and that's going to cause a lot of delay on any sort of ult charge. Look at the just percentage gain from Dreedro, and Ding has not been able to take any sort of back of their own. But again, SFX is still in that 40% range, so it's about even for the ult economy back and forth on that regard.
A little bit, but now you've got the come in here, and it's still, again, Ding just can't play the game.
Nope, it's going to now be another pick. Cenny hyper-focusing it again. This might honestly force a change up in the support selection, but still going to hold true. Pulse bomb in the back, going to gain one after the immediate kill onto Sorcerer, and there's Ding's rotation to the Lucio, getting back into this fight because at this point, like you said, can't seem to play it. Ult's still stacked up pretty high, though, for Cenny's with that Rocket Barrage available, looking to try and keep this point 50% still. But the changeover finally coming through. Green with the comp, using the Lucio, getting back to the point quickly and allowing that switch just going to stop at that 59%.
Oh, that was bold. Ding was able to come back on the Lucio, but Dreedro popped the Valkyrie and then also popped out the pistol. Just completely shut down that 4-Mercy duo on Cennystock, and I think that was a huge reason why that helped. But the res, I don't know if that was the right time for that.
Tense gonna try and regroup from the back, get some value, but now Cloud having an early double kill. Ultimate stacking up in the amplification matrix here from Cennystock's going to finally be over with a quick switch back for 62% and climbing.
62%. Maybe 2 fights left, I think, for Green to come back here. And Ding is switching things up once again. Doesn't want to stay on that Lucio for too long, and already finding more value from the Baptiste, being able to land more shots and also just land more healing.
Supercharger down. Cenny's to try and get the early damage. Pulse bomb in the back, not going to get the kill necessary as Cenny takes down more. This is now Cenny domain on this control point. Supercharger gonna lose 10% to go. Last chance for Green.
I think Cenny might be stifling Ding with the smell of those socks right now, because this is not the first time that I've seen Cennystock go after that support player first, really mitigating the healing potential.
Rocket Barrage to get the second after Emil going down. Rockets in return, though, by Diligent to try and counter. Can't seem to do so. Overtime commencing. 99 still there as a few last-ditch efforts from Green with Emil on the wrecking ball to stagger it out. Won't be able to last any longer here, as that match will first go to Cennystock. Looking to see what this next map on Lijiang has in store for Green.
That's so tough. That's so tough, because Green just couldn't stay alive. Time and time again, Ding was just getting picked. That's just all that important healing removed from the team.
Cloud was really bumping up the level of gameplay on that Pharah, that match. Just being able to harass Cenny as well, making sure to focus down that on it in the backside, exploiting the positioning that was maybe not so beneficial to Green. And now going into this, we're going to see that May play, and it's going to be a really different type of dynamic here.
Is going to be a very different type of dynamic, because you also have a Reaper that's going to be coming out for both teams. This is just kind of the tried and true. This is a big death ball coming in for both sides.
Oh my goodness, pummeling one another on this middle high ground. The immortality fields both expended, quickly going in favor of Cennystock. Just obliterating with the Reaper play, opening up.
Fi's Reaper. My goodness. I remember seeing this during the Open Division practice season on Ex Oblivione, and it's a real treat to see it come back out here again. And now they even have the support of this Deathball tank duo with the Reinhardt and the Orisa. This is going to be a nasty team to fight against. I think Green might be in a bit of trouble unless you can get some of this damage in.
And on the high ground now, looking for a flank, trying to tank out that backline support, but the Immortality field is going to be dropped. Capable of doing so, Emil with that Earth Shatter of now. Ding's going to have to actually force the amplification matrix. A little bit of an unfortunate usage of, I think, ultimates here. Cloud on the front just doing so much work with the Blizzard now active for this next fight, as you have Cenny surpassing 30%.
This must be so fun for Jeru to play. If you notice, not only do they have the reaction times to be able to just completely shut down Emil's Earth Shatter, but they just get to swing away. It's so carefree. It must be so fun being the Reinhardt player right now.
Truly is, with that Earth Shatter going to look for some high value, and you see Fi having to force a retreat here, having to go around the outside, might get blocked down, but the Blizzard is there. Cryo freeze by Diligent to survive through its Immortality field, and the Earth Shatter comes out but doesn't gain the knockdown. Fortified to block a lot of it as the Blizzard in return comes out with a Death Blossom by Fi in the backside, trying to get some kills. Looks to gain one, looks for now the support play. Reese is going to cause a lot of harass. Emil going down 72%. This is going to be last fight territory if Green can bail and survive this last fight.
Green now has ultimates online though, and I think this is where we see the tides turn. Tense has a chance to strike back. They have the Death Blossom online, and with the Supercharger Death Blossom, that could completely eliminate the team of Cenny. They just have to be able to land this ultimate combo.
Charge the lead by going in the back, looking to generate some decent damage as the sound barrier also becomes active. Everything capable, but there is a Death Blossom. No Supercharger for it, not going to get the value. There's the cleanup here. Green unable to do anything, as Cenny will have a random pause towards the end. Out of nowhere, going to hold it for the overtime for a moment longer, just for the last moment. You see the final seconds dwindle away. No ability to get back. Green on the Lucio attempting. Lulls in the channel, as Cenny will be able to claim victory here over Green, moving forward through this EU Breakable barriers.
Eyes Reaper is scary, what can I say?
Goodness me, let's take a look. There's Fi on the front doing work, as we've talked about before, seeing it in the practice season of Open Division. What a stellar level of gameplay from both of these teams. It has been a miraculous thing to cast. And Necra, it's been awesome today.
Oh yeah, this is just a start, Rich. We still have 8 more hours to go, because we're going to be hopping across the pond, going over to NA, and that's going to happen in the next, I think, hour and a half. So you might want to stick around for that. 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Pacific. You're not going to want to miss that. I know it's a little late for you EU folks, but maybe you'll stick around to see what else the other region has to offer.
Yes, indeed. And again, for tomorrow, we will get into, again, Breakable Barriers, the EU CET timing, which will be at 6 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. against CET EU for tomorrow. There's more action to come, so do not waver away. Myself and Necra, as she said, will be able to bring you more action today, and there's also some tomorrow. So this is a full weekend of Overwatch for all of you. I know. Bringing it all. So take care, happy gaming, and we will look to see you later, friends.